Hi friends, Ms. Paglarani here for our first official day of Phase 2 of virtual learning. I'm so excited to dive back into math with you today because we're going to be working with a new math tool that you have probably used before. So think in your brain about what it could be. We're going to start with looking at the tool, going over 3 practice problems together, then I'll give you some problems to practice on your own, and then it'll be time for your exit ticket. Did you figure out what the tool was? If you guessed the ruler, you're right. It is the ruler. This is a standard 12-inch ruler. You've probably used it before. I'm going to have you take a minute to look at the ruler and see what you observe. Try to remember anything you know about rulers already. So we use rulers to measure length, or how long something is. This ruler measures in inches, which is a unit, kind of like how we measured an object's weight using kilograms earlier this year. That was the unit. The reason we use units is so that if someone in Massachusetts were measuring an object that was 5 inches long, and someone in California measured an object that was 5 inches long, we know that they're talking about things that are the same length. Without the unit, one person could be talking about something that was 5 inches, and another person could be talking about something that was 5 miles. Another thing you might notice about this ruler is that there are 12 inches on the ruler. That's because 12 inches equals 1 foot. No, not the foot that's attached to your leg. Feet is another unit of measuring length. Now, one of the most unique things about this ruler that you might notice is that there are lines in between each inch. This kind of reminds me of something. Does it remind you of something? Take a minute if you need to pause the video and think about it. Did it remind you of the hash marks we made on our number lines when we were learning about fractions? That's what it reminded me of. So when I look at this, I see that each of these jumps in between 0 and 1, each of these jumps between 1 and 2, those create equal parts. I remember equal parts connecting to fractions. So if I could label here, I would label this, how many intervals or jumps are there between each whole inch? Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me count how many there are between 1 and 2. That's another whole. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it seems like each hole on this ruler, each whole inch I should say, is divided into fourths. So we'll be using this ruler, to measure to the 1/4 inch today. So if I were to label this ruler, let's say I were writing it in person, I would say that this is, think about your number line. 1/4, good. 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4, or 1 whole. Here, would I say this is 1/4 again? Well, sort of, but I'm already an inch into the ruler. So I have to make sure I include that 1 whole as well. So I would say that if I was measuring an object that stopped here, I would go 1 whole and 1/4. So 1 and 1/4. Then here would be 1 and 2/4. 1 and 3/4. And then 2 wholes. Can anyone figure out what else I could call this middle line, the one that's right in the middle of each of my holes? You'll notice it's a little bit longer than these other shorter ones. Think about it. What do you know about 2/4? Right? We know that this middle line, when we count by fourths, is 1/4, 2/4. What do we know about 2/4? It's also 1/2, right? It's halfway in between each of the holes. So I could say 1 and 1/4, 1 and 2/4, or I could say 1 and 1/2. I'm going to give you one to try. Okay, let's say that I had an object that went from 0 all the way to here. Think in your brain, how long might I say that object is? If you need to take a minute to pause, that's totally okay. All right, well, let's see. I have, looks like the object would be at 7 holes, and then I have to count my fourths again. 7 and 1/4, 7 and 2/4 or 1/2, and 7 and 3/4. So that would be the length of my object. I need to make sure that I say my unit as well. So I would say 7 and 3/4 inches long. All right, let's jump into some practice problems together. The first one I have for you is a hot dog. Who's hungry? I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. All right. First thing I need to do is see, yep, my hot dog starts at 0. 0 is not labeled on this ruler, but we know that that is 0 because it's right at the very beginning. So from 0 to, oh, look at that. It lands right on the whole number, 7. So I would check 0 to 7. Yep, this hot dog is 7 inches long. This one's a little bit trickier. That looks like a Twizzler. Yum. All right, let's measure this Twizzler. 0, 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch, 7 inch, 8 inch. Ooh, it's really close to 9, but it's not quite at 9. And I want to make sure that I'm being as specific in my measurements as I can be. So I have to look at my hash marks on my ruler here, just like on the other ruler. These whole inches are divided into quarter inches or fourths. So I'm going to count by fourths. I know that 8 inches is the furthest whole inch that I got to. So I'm going to start counting with my fractions. Here we go. 8, 8 and 1/4, 8 and 2/4 or 1/2, 8 and 3/4 inches. Do you see that? Take a minute to pause it if you need to think. Okay, let's try one more. A crayon. All right. Here we go. Looks like this one also is going to be using a fractional part of an inch. So we'll start at 0. 1 whole inch, 2 whole inches, 3, 4. It doesn't quite reach 5. So I'm going to have to count with fractions. All right, I've got this. 4 and 1/4, 4 2/4, or I could say 4 1/2, right? It stops exactly halfway between 4 and 5. All right, friends, now that we've done some practice together, it is your turn to start measuring. So you're going to go to your Google Classroom account. You're going to log in. I've put the link to Google Classroom below. You can also log in through Clever, and please reach out to your teacher if you're having trouble logging into Google Classroom, because that's where all of your assignments are going to be, and you're going to need to be able to get into that program. So once you log in, you'll see something that looks like this. This is your independent practice. Please make sure when you're done with this that you turn in your assignment, and that way your teacher knows that you're done. There's a little button that says turn in, and you'll click that. So on this page, I've asked you to find some objects in your home that are smaller than 12 inches, and you can just hold them up to the ruler that's on this link. You can just hold it up and then measure it right here. Then you're going to type in the box. So let's say you measure your orange from your refrigerator. And then you would type in the length of the orange. Then down here, I gave you some problems kind of like the ones that we just did, where you'll have to measure some objects and then you'll have to record how long the object is by typing it into the box. Then, when you're done with that, I have your exit ticket. Here is your exit ticket, pretty short and simple. You're going to measure the length of the red line, measure the length of the apple, and then explain in a few sentences how you found the length of the apple so that I know and your teachers know what you are thinking. For your exit ticket, make sure to click the link in the description below for your class. All right, friends, I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a great day of learning.